Been wanting to do this build for a while now. Actually bought the supplies back in, I'm thinking it was maybe August, September, but I'd hurt my back and never got around to it. And because of the big snowmageddon, that wasn't, but it is still really cold outside here in southwestern PA. I decided to do it today, and you can see it's over my back, over my shoulder there. Before I get to the specifics of it, which I'll talk about in the second live video that I'm going to do here, just want to talk a little bit about it. I've tested the test bucket out, and it's given me some very good insights into what my AT Gold may be missing, or what I may be missing, just because I wasn't reading it correctly. It's interesting. I can, put a mercury dime right next to an actually old rusty nail that we found, and actually see what it's doing. So it's interesting because I think I've probably walked past some mercury dimes that were probably masked by some nails. So this is an interesting thing. It's going to help you actually learn what your detector's telling you, so that you may make some better finds. You may find some stuff that you've passed over because it sounded, it's kind of a bad scratch, at least a scratchy signal with mine, and the VDI reading really strange, really low. One of the things I tried out, I put a nail right next to a mercury dime, and you can actually test these at different depths and see what those things sound like. And when I tested it around 5 or 6 inches, it sounded scratchy, and the VDI was reading 3 and 4, not the typical, like you would think, like 80, 81 for a mercury dime. So definitely a good build to do. This is a simple little thing here. You can tuck in a corner anywhere. You don't have to, if you don't have the room to put a test garden in, which I think is a great thing to do if you have the room to do it. I may do that this summer or spring. But this is a great thing to do, if you're limited with space. You can fill this thing up, stick it in a corner, and really try different coins, different objects, gold, silver rings, and find out what they're doing and what they sound like, so you won't pass them over the next time that you're out. As you can see, this is, any bucket from your, you can get one from Lowe's or Home Depot. One's going to be orange, one's going to be blue, but they're all the same. You're going to want to purchase the lid with it. And as you can see here, this black pipe that I used, it is a 2-inch OD, which what I mean is a 2-inch outer diameter. I think it comes in maybe 10-foot lengths. But for these here, the tubes that you're going to make, that go through, they're going to be 12.5 inches long. So, as long as you get, 6, 8, 10 feet, I forget what it came in. I think mine was, like I said, about 10 foot. So you're going to need a bucket, the lid, about 10 foot of this pipe. You'll have a little bit left over maybe for another one if you want to make it. And you're going to need some kind of stick. You could easily get a ruler. They got wooden rulers there for sale. This is a piece of something I had laying around for when I was doing a bunch of planning at one point. So you could use that for the stick that you're going to run back and forth, that you can see I already have 2 nails on here. But yeah, so how in the world did I build this? All right, well, I'm going to take the lid off here, and as you can see, I already got earth and stuff in it. But what I did was I drilled this out right here, drilled it out to accept some rope. You don't want the metal bail on there. But by doing that, I knew what these 2 points here were centers. So by finding that, I placed, in order to get what I need to make my center point for my measurements, I laid a square across. All right, and then you can jut up another square to it, and then be able to find these points here that you need to make in order to put the pipes through. I know that it's 12 inches across, so 6 inches worth of center. Now, my pipes here are, I think it's 3 inches apart, so if I find center here, and I measure over 1.5 inches, and then another inch, so you're going to come over 2.5 inches. So laying that square across from the center, measure over 2.5 inches, make a mark, drop, and actually the best way to do this is, because these buckets are tapered, you're going to want to use a plumb bob. So on that mark, drop your plumb bob down, and that's what I did, and I made a line. So that's going to be the center mark, and then drop one here. Same thing on all 4 sides. So again, like I said, 6 inches in the center, because it's a 12-inch wide bucket. Outside, you can make a mark here if you want to, but you're going to come over 2.5 inches for the center line of where you're going to drill. But the depths, when you put the bucket on, when you put the lid on, I measured down, and I decided to do mine for 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, maybe if your detector, you know, if the detector can go that deep. But what you want to do is you'll come down at 5.5 inches, 9.5 inches, 13.5 inches, and then over here 7.5. It's easy enough, and 11.5. You'll make a mark. I drilled it. I put a pilot hole in it with a smaller drill. It's just going to be easier because what I ended up using was one of those cutouts. And what I mean by that is right here. I got a set of those. And the one that I used was a 2-inch. So then drill your holes. Simple enough. Drill them through. Real easy. It's plastic. It cuts pretty simple. And slide the pipe through. Now, there's a couple ways you could do it. I just put the pipes in and fill the earth because it's cold out there today, like I said. But what you could do is you could actually put these two in, fill your earth in, get a good compaction. Put the next two in, fill your earth, get a good compaction. Put the last one in, fill the earth all the way up, compact it down, let it settle. You know, I put mine all in. However you want to do it to get it in, no big deal. But I took, like I said, I took the metal bail off. And I actually made some, as you can see here, I made some wooden washers. And I just knotted the one end, ran it around, knotted the other end, and now I have a nice handle, you know, that has no metal in it. That's the build. It's pretty simple build. It probably will take you, I mean, if you're really going on it, yeah, a couple hours, maybe 3 hours at the most. I don't know. I kind of worked on it, you know, went up, had lunch, came back, finished it up. But the great thing, like I said, is being able to do stuff like this. I can put that coin, and I just, you know, hold them on by rubber bands. Simple enough. You can slide that coin underneath that rubber band and sound like, you know, to see what that coin sounds like when it could be up against some iron. And then also without. You can just pop these out, just put the coin on there. Test a bunch of different coins out, and at different depths. I'm getting a good idea what, you know, the standard coil for the Pro and the Max is, but not for the, because I have an AT Gold, what is it, 8.5 by 11, I think, something like that. That's the coil that I typically use. I do have a Nell coil, and of course the smaller coil that came with it, I think it's a 5 by 8. I like running the Nell, the big Nell, because I can cover a lot of ground with it. I think I have the Thunder, I think, on mine. I'm going to test it out and see really if it's getting, you know, what kind of depth it's getting me over that 8.5 by 11 coil, that double D coil. But like I said, I usually like to run it because it's not as heavy, and you know, I can cover a good bit of ground with it. A lot more ground than I can in the 5 by 8. But it just depends. You know, if I'm in a really trashy area, I'll pull out that 5 by 8. But hey, that's the build. I hope I didn't go through it too quick, but that's what the video is for.